Aloha everybody. Well, I can't say aloha. I am not in Hawaii. I am in Maryland where it is freezing cold. But aloha anyway. I am here to talk to you about how my surgery went and this week. Today is my 1 week post-op. Alright, so as far as my experience went, it was hectic. I had to start my 3-day liquid diet as soon as I had to start traveling. So that's Saturday, when I left the ship, I had to start my liquid diet, and everything went pretty okay the first day. You know, being on the airport, you're kind of limited to food anyway. So I had a muscle milk and I had 2 bottles of water, and then by the time I arrived home the next day, I had another muscle milk, which is all I had access to, protein wise, and I had more water. And by the time I arrived home, my mom had made me some chicken noodle soup, so I had the broth from that. It helped a lot. And then the next day was not the best. My mom had all these things prepared for me, not knowing what I was trying to do, so I cheated a little bit. I took a bite of this and that, and I drank a lot of water with it though. So all in all, it wasn't too bad. You know, you just still feel guilty taking a bite of anything when you're about to go to surgery, when they give you clear instructions not to do so. So when the 3rd day came, I had to fly back to San Diego for my surgery. And that day was also a lot better when I'm not around my mom, tempted by all this food. So I had 2 more muscle milks, I had a bottle of water, which I struggled to finish. And so when I arrived to San Diego, I actually had to wait. I arrived at 12, I had to wait until 3 for me to get picked up. And their communication was just not very good. They told me to stay put at my station and that someone would be with me. And then 3 hours later, oh my god, I'm still waiting, and it is hot over there, so I was not happy. But anyway, they took us straight to the hospital and they did all the testing. I had to let them know that I was fighting bronchitis, so they actually they scheduled me for some extra x-rays and things like that, just to make sure that my lungs were not going to cause any problems for my surgery. So that was good on their part, being cautious and aware of things like this. Something that I didn't do, which I highly regret right now, is telling them about my scoliosis, because the way they lay you down and they blow you up with gas, oh my god, it wreaked havoc on my back. So all the testing came back positive. I was good to go. The night before the surgery, we had to stop eating by 10. So anything, they gave us they gave us 4 boxes of apple juice, 2 containers of Jello, and 2 bottles of water, and a cup of soup. First of all, the cup of soup was not soup, it was water and salt. It was disgusting. So I ate one of the Jellos and I drank and by bottles of water I mean little 8 ounces of water. And well, I'm gonna be honest with you. The group I was with, we went out and we all shared a little sub, and we each had a quarter of it. So I don't think it caused harm, but probably not the best idea. I did take all my laxatives on time like I was supposed to. That last night I did take 2 because I wanted everything out, just to be on the safe side. My surgery wasn't even until 1 in the afternoon, and when we had the sub it was like around 6:30, so I had plenty of time to pass it through, but I just wanted to be safe. Anyway, the next day there was a lot of sitting around and they got me dressed, and I finally met the doctor around 12:30, and he just went over everything with me. He asked me if I was okay, he asked me if I had any questions. I just didn't like the fact that I didn't even meet this guy until I was about to have the surgery, and I wasn't completely okay with that. So he told me how everything was gonna go. He gave me instructions. They brought me into the operating room, and I did hesitate to get on the table for about 3 seconds, but you know, my heart was already in this. I had to do it. There was no backing out now. I traveled all this way, I went through all this, so I just laid on the table, and the guy told me to breathe normally. Before I know it, they're strapping me down and they're putting this mask on me, and the guy tried telling me that it was just oxygen, but hey, I've been through surgery before. I know that wasn't oxygen, so I gave him a glare, and he smiled at me, and that's the last thing I remember. So I came out of the operation, and I started crying. Anesthesia makes me cry. I don't know why. But when I had my foot surgery, I remember when I woke up, I started crying as well. I don't know what it is. I cry when I wake up from anesthesia. But I was okay, you know. You could tell that I could tell that I had just went through surgery, but I wasn't in pain or anything. You know, I could tell there was a lot of gas in my stomach because I felt like I was pregnant. And you know, something else is that they don't help you get on and off tables. They make you get on the operation table, they make you get on this table, off this table. You have to do everything yourself, getting on and off. And so yeah, they were, anyway, but they took me back to the recovery room, and when I tried getting on that table, my back felt like it was broken. So I fell asleep a little bit sideways because you can't go on your side and you can't sleep on your stomach, which is something I do. I don't sleep on my back because of my scoliosis. So I slept a little bit on my side, and I woke up 2 hours later with horrible gas pains. And so I knew I had to walk, and I tried walking, but I couldn't. Oh my God, I couldn't walk. I made it to the stairs, which was maybe only 20 feet. And by then I felt the blood rushing through my body, and I felt like I was gonna faint. So I sat down and I got nauseous. So I was not trying to walk anymore. So I went back to my bed, and I kept falling on and off sleep. They tried getting me to walk, but I was not having it. And finally, like around 11 at night, I woke up with awful gas pains again. These gas pains are awful. Not the worst thing I have experienced by far, but they're pretty uncomfortable. So I kept asking them for pain meds. They said no matter how much pain meds I give you, you have to walk to move the gas. And I tried ignoring the nurse, which is not a good idea. And around 3 o'clock, it got even worse and worse and worse. So I said, I can't handle this. I'm regretting it. So she made me get up, and she made me hold on to the sides of the wall, and she made me rock back and forth, because at least that got the gas moving. And I felt gas moving, but it wasn't enough. So she said, let's walk now. Just follow me. We'll go slow. We'll walk. And believe it or not, I walked for a good 30 minutes because across from us there was a nursery. And there were a whole bunch of cute little babies there, and I couldn't resist to look. So I walked for 30 minutes, and it helped. Oh God, so much. So I finally went to bed, and I woke up around 5:30, which is when we could finally have water. They don't recommend ice cubes. Everyone talks about ice chips. My hospital did not. They said it's not a good idea. They recommended cold water to reduce the swelling in your esophagus, but not ice. So I was like, okay, whatever. And I tried drinking water, but my stomach was just not having it. I could not take anything for that first day and the next day. I couldn't do anything. I couldn't digest anything. So they tried giving me apple juice. I couldn't do it. They tried giving me Jello. Worst idea ever. But I kept walking, and I kept trying to take little sips. I finally realized that I was holding my stomach tight, and that's what was causing everything to not go through smoothly. Because my problem was I would take a sip, and it felt like a marble just pulling down, and I could feel it hit the bottom of my stomach really hard. So it felt like someone was punching me every time I took a sip, and it's not comfortable. So anyway, finally later that day when we had water, they finally released us. They keep in mind this whole time they have us on an IV, a lot of fluids, a lot of medicine, and a lot of like anti-inflammatory stuff. So all very good. They finally took us to the hotel where we were staying for the next 2 days, and they have a nurse dedicated specifically to us, helping us with anything, changing our IVs, changing our bandages, and pretty much everything from then on, it went smoothly. You feel uncomfortable, but it's not like horrific pain. The hardest part is just getting through the first 24 hours. You know, if you have a good attitude and you can get through the first 24 hours, it'll help you out a lot. Anyway, so by the third day, they took us off the IV and they took the drain out of us, which is something I want to talk about, because as many videos as I watched, as many procedures that I watched, and as many articles that I read, no one ever really talks about the drain. I thought it was just like a little side thing, that it wasn't really important because no one really talks about it. And well, that thing causes a lot of discomfort because it's this long tube that's in your abdominal area, draining whatever fluids is left in there, and it's this bag hanging down, and they don't like attach it to you somehow, they just let it hang. So that was uncomfortable because if you move the wrong way, it jerks out of your abdomen and it causes discomfort. But when they took it out, I didn't know whether she was pulling out my intestine or if I was having an exorcism done, because I've never experienced this, and I was just simply not prepared for this at all. Everything else, I had an idea of this. I had read about it, I had seen it, and I was somehow in some way prepared for all of that, except for taking out this drain bag. Oh God, it is a combination of you wanting to throw up, trying to breathe, and someone taking something out of your abdomen. It is not comfortable. And because I realized that no one really talks about it, I had my roommate record it being done to me. So if you are sensitive to things like this, I suggest you fast forward and you don't watch, but I will insert the video right there.
Hands here, okay? Because if you move me, I'm available to hurt you, so don't put your... I'm only cutting this piece, okay? You're ready? Okay.
Don't count. Don't count.
No, I'm not going to count. The only thing I wanted to distract you. Let me distract you.
Okay.
And what are you doing your kids in this moment? You already speak to them?
To who?
To your kids.
I don't have kids.
No? Wow. You want one? I have two.
Yes. I want 3.
You want 3? Oh, okay. Normally breathing girl? Normally breathing. You're married? We finished. What's that? Really bad?
Was it that bad? No. She's done.
You're nervous.
She's good. Alright, and you're all...
Anyway, after they get it done, they get it out, they bandage you back up, and they take the IV out, and now you are on your own. It is up to you to keep up with your liquids. It is up to you to take your pain meds. So good luck to you. So the pain meds they gave me came in a pill form, and I was figuring, well, if I can barely take in water, I'm not taking in a pill, and I'm not about to start getting sick now. So we went out, and because we decided we needed to walk, and we walked about, honestly, for about 45 minutes at least. We were very proud of ourselves, and we went out to the pharmacy. We got a pill crusher, and I put it in. I put the medicine in, you know, with a little sip of water. The medicine itself doesn't taste that bad. It's the antibiotics that taste awful. So the antibiotics I try mixing in with a little bit of soup and just throwing it back. On the third day, when we had to leave, that was probably one of my most uncomfortable days, other than the first 24 hours, because I had packed away all my medicine and I hadn't taken in water yet, and I hadn't slept through the night completely. It wasn't a full rest, so my back was killing me and I was in pain and I was dehydrated. So when I got to the airport, I bought a Gatorade in which it did have sugar, and I wasn't too worried about it because even though they tell you to stay away from sugar, the apple juice they give you has like 21 grams of sugar, so I didn't understand what the difference was. So I had the Gatorade with sugar and I took a pain pill, and just like that, within like 5 minutes, oh my god, it made a world of a difference. So the airplane ride was still very uncomfortable because on one of the airplanes I was in the middle, so I couldn't lean towards one side or towards the other side without them like staring at me. So I had to do this a lot to help move my back, and I kept tapping my legs a lot to keep moving, and you know, I just tried moving so I wouldn't be so stiff. So by the time I got off the airplane and I saw my dad, because he's the one who picked me up, I burst into tears. And he was like, "What's going on?" He freaked out, so I told him, "My back really hurts. I don't know what I did to it." And that was the truth. My back was killing me. So he brought me home, and my mom made me some soup again, and all was well. And you know, the past couple of days, I've just been resting and taking in as much liquids as I can. I try to keep these 4 items with me at all times, okay? So I have my protein drink, which I meant to talk to you all about. I thought I had all the flavors. In Hawaii, those flavors that's all they have. But when I came here to Maryland, they had the lemonade. It is really good. It is a very close tie with the green one. And I think the reason I like these two the best is because they have the least amount of odor of that whey protein. You can't really smell them. So I really love this one. I think I'm gonna order a whole case of them from Amazon and just have it shipped to the ship. Anyways, so this one I love. If you can get your hands on it, try. The next is my Powerade because it has good electrolytes. It's really good. Trust me, it is now 2 in the afternoon and this is all I've had. But I've also had this much protein drink, and I've also have this, which holds my hot tea. I am having a lot of hot green tea, and this is probably the thing that goes the most. I've been able to really drink a lot of this. On most days, I can drink about 75% of it, which is really good. So at least it ensures that I'm getting liquids in. And the last thing is this little container. This holds my soup. Right now I have tomato basil in it, and let me tell you what I do with my soup. I put in my biotin in it. As you all know, that is the one thing I'm worried about is my hair. It looks flat right now, but I just haven't done much with it, as you can tell. But I put in my biotin in it, and there's my soup. I don't know if you can see it without me spilling it. And it keeps it hot, so I don't have to keep reheating it up because that like burns the soup. But as far as soups go, I know how people towards the end say I never want to see chicken noodle soup again. So I have been trying my best to switch things up a lot. I have everything from chicken broth to beef broth, vegetable broth. I've even tried mushroom soup. I hate mushrooms, so that did not go well. And tomato basil soup, egg drop soup. My mom made this lemon chicken Santorini soup, so I just took the broth from that. And my dad's about to make some lamb bowl soup, so I'll take the broth from that as well. So I've been trying to mix it up. I have not been like actually sick, like throwing up or anything like that. I've taken 4 pain pills. I've been taking my antibiotics as much as I can. It's actually on schedule. And I've been drinking a lot of green tea. I'm only sipping though, so my stitches, they're perfectly fine, except the big one where they take the tube out of, it keeps opening up. So I think I'm gonna go to the doctor and just ask them to put in a stitch, because I don't feel like having a nasty scar there. And I'm gonna go to the chiropractor about my back, because although I know back pain is normal, mine is just awful, awful, awful. It actually bothers me more than the surgery. So other than that, my weight. So first video I made, which was 1 month pre-op, I weighed in at 193. The day before surgery, I weighed in at 187. Today, this morning, I actually had an appointment with my doctor about something else, but I had to get weighed in, which was perfect. And I weighed in at 177. Do the math, I suck at it. I'm excited, I've at least dropped that much weight. So I expect all things to be going well. Other than that, I am cold, I'm in Maryland. I can't wait to go back to Hawaii. So that's all the information I have for everybody. Thanks for listening. If you like this video, please like it, subscribe it, share it with your friends. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, let me know. I